This will be an epic Setons between two pretty good teams. We got Gov in one mid. You got Burke going against them on the other side as Seraphim. And there we got Sith as Red Aeon versus Seraphim as Hawk. So two very good air players. And on the Navy, we got Killer as Cybern. No Pulse as Cybern, so nice Cybern battle in one ocean. And then Carlos versus Kaboomer. We got UEF versus Cybern, so two very good naval battles. As you can see, you got Berg running up with an NG and ACU, so more aggressive than Gov at this point. You can't even see any of Gov's units yet. Coming up in 3 minutes, Berg's to the middle first. He's already getting a bunch of mass using his NG. And we got Gov finally coming in. See Berg pushing his ACU really far forward, and got this NG from Gov that Gov has to really worry about because this ACU will kill it. Now he's running away. Pretty big early mass advantage for Berg for sure. Nice to see this NG from Gov actually made it quite far up, got a lot of mass, but finally gets killed. That NG from Berg is still getting mass. So all this mass pretty much isolated from Gov. Interesting to see two transports just went by each other, one from Carlos dropping in on the side base from Kaboomer, and then this T1 transport coming in on Carlos's island, which doesn't really have anything on it now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I can see two NGs and a couple tanks, and the NGs are actually reclaiming this factory, so very good use of NGs. So very well played by Carlos. Carlos was not able to get a drop in. You can see the dead transport was shot down by Carlos. Sorry, Boomer. You can see early trouble for Boomer here. Completely lost 3 mass extractors. He got a couple Mantis on the run, which he's trying to bomb with T1 bombers, which are pretty effective. However, these units are pretty mobile. He's dodging quite a lot of bombs. 8 minutes 30 seconds. Looking at mass stats, Berg got about twice as much mass as Gov did. Well, a little less than twice as much, but he did get pretty big domination. Now you can see both ACUs have upgraded. Berg's still upgrading. A lot of Mantis from Gov. Not very effective against the Seraphim ACU. Early T1 air confrontation. See bombers coming in from Killer by getting shot down by a nice T1 air presence from No Pulse, as well as some frigates moving in, but T2 Navy, some torpedo launchers will prevent any kind of early trouble. See some early confrontation of some T1 ACU. Of course, this Mantis army doesn't really have what it takes to get past an ACU and a bunch of T1 tanks. See some bombers coming in from Killer. He will try to snipe Berg's ACU, but it will be difficult to do because there's a lot of T1 air. Of course, Berg's ACU is upgrading, so he's not able to move. At this point, Gov should really be attacking, get a little more hits on Berg, but really not on the same page. We got our first naval battle between No Pulse and Killer, and No Pulse moving in some T1 as well as some T2. However, he has stopped. Now he continues his progress. Only T1 from Killer, so it could be early trouble. But No Pulse will not be too aggressive and will just shoot from distance with his destroyer. Some more unit wasting from Gov. He's just sort of sending these units to die against shields and PD. Now he's retreating, but not before leaving a whole bunch of mass. T2 gunships from Sith to help out Boomer here, just killing all these unprotected T1 Navy. The naval fight continues here. Some more T2 units, some T2 submarines, T1, some destroyers and cruisers. However, Killer has got a little bit of his own T2, just a cruiser here, and some destroyers. So it's pretty even, but some amphibious flak from Berg should definitely help. Now we can see what is a pretty big lack of respect from Sith in terms of air versus Hawk. She built a whole bunch of strat bombers. He's going to go after Gov. He's got a couple shields, but it will not be enough to prevent. and actually takes him out at minute 18. Here we see the ASF from Hawk coming in, but she has a whole bunch of her own ASF. So we have our first ASF battle. Which Sith takes pretty easily. And Berg right away moves in a whole bunch of T1 units to take over Gov's old base. Losing air is pretty devastating for Navy. You can see here Boomer using a lot of torpedo bombers in groups of 3 or 4, which really only to worry about cruisers. And you're just going to kill all this Navy using air. So you're just taking out cruiser, not much AA left here. We'll go after T2 first and follow up with a bunch of T1 Navy. And in the middle you see Berg just rolling through with his T1 force. Not much defense, not much that can be done. Now you can see that Carlos actually had a huge navy, so it takes a lot of time to kill it all. Sith is helping out with some T2 gunships, killing off NGs, killing off the build power. And all this T1 navy from Cab is getting killed pretty easily. You can still see these bombers, torpedo bombers just flying around. Some flag coming in from Berg as well. And now we can actually see a spider bot from Carlos who's moving into the middle to prevent all this T1 stuff. T1 units from Berg, which have killed all this middle base. Actually see strat bombers still from Sith getting quite a few kills, going after mass extractors. And still domination from Sith in terms of air, killing off all this ASF from Hawk. On the other side we see T2 bot, 14 kills from Berg, some T1 tanks as well. It's getting bombed by a bunch of T1 bombers and T1 PD. You can see Killer's Navy in the distance. So it's nice to see both Killer and Carlos still have lost the Navy, even though they have absolutely no air support. Here we see a naval battle between Killer and No Pulse, which Killer is winning pretty easily. He's getting behind these T2 ships with his T1, and ships can't shoot backwards. So he's still dominating, even though No Pulse has got air dominance using torpedo bombers. Whole bunch of build power here, build capacity from Killer. He's able to produce units faster than they can be killed. And you can see Sith's ASF dominating air. You can see in the middle, Berg is finishing up his chicken and getting his T3 ACU on a transport. He also has the TAC missile upgrade. Now you can see Berg's destination is Carlos' base. There's a bunch of ASF still fighting, so a little dangerous. But you can see Sith has a lot of air presence. And now Berg drops directly next to T2 flak. Now he's going to get a shield in first. There goes his transport. And Sith cleaning up ASF. Hawk moved in thinking he might get Berg's ACU, but instead lost all of his ASF again. Carlos is moving in his navy to help protect. And you can see Berg actually beginning to snipe all the mass extractors from Carlos.